So bring out a whole new you with trendy makeup tips for 2013. Deanna Nickel is a makeup artist and the owner of d.d.Nickel Makeup Studio, and she joins us with helpful advice. Good to have you here, Dee.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, I'm really excited to talk about this because a lot of people want to try something new in the new year or anytime, really, just a change. And color sometimes scares people, right?
Color scares people.
Anything blue makes me think 80s. Now, you're telling me emerald is the color of the year.
Yes, every year there's a new color of the year. This year it's emerald. So you're going to see a lot of blues and greens in clothing, and that always translates into beauty trends. So it's a great way to kind of add a little color to your normal neutral face. The key is just putting the color just where you need it.
Well, you've inspired me. I see how you have the emerald on your eyes, and it looks great, and it doesn't at all look like you're bringing back the 80s. It looks very classic.
Yeah, you want to keep it really tight to the lash line if you're going to use it on your eyes. The other thing you could do is if you want to kind of work in a neutral palette, add kind of a mossy green instead of a bright green. You don't always have to go bold. You're just adding a hint of color.
Right, so color could be a pale or it could be a bold, right? So you don't have to think that it's going too crazy. Now, the red carpet, obviously there's a lot of award shows this season, so you're seeing all these great looks, and then you want to try something at home and you're not sure what to do.
Exactly. Well, a perennial favorite for the red carpet is always red lips, which again is another thing that kind of makes people uncomfortable. The way to incorporate a red lip is to either make it very, very sheer or look for something in a cherry or a watermelon tone that's not as bold. You don't have to have a deep red matte lip.
Well, I think that can be very scary when you put on that red lip and you look in the mirror, especially if you're not used to it.
Right.
You think, I don't know if I should go out in public like this.
Right.
But maybe just take baby steps, nothing too crazy at first.
Exactly. And you don't want to work all the trends at one time. You know, always
the
pick
emerald
a feature.
eye with the red lips.
Exactly. Pick a feature and go with that.
Right, like you're saying you have a very neutral face, but your eyes pop with the emerald. So go for that, or do the red lips as what
with a really soft eye.
Okay, good advice. Good advice, Dee. Now moving on to another look that you see on the red carpets. You see dewy,
very dewy skin.
Youthful.
Yes, very youthful. A lot of the older foundation formulas are really matte and very heavy and are actually more aging than they need to be. So two things that everybody should have in their makeup kit is a primer, which helps you'll use less makeup and get a better finish, and you'll get that dewy kind of finish, and a tinted moisturizer. And very forgiving. Absolutely. If you need extra coverage, go back in and use a little concealer just where you need it. So you want your natural skin to show. This is great on dry skin. It works well on oily skin if you use a matte primer. So there's a lot of options out there for everyone, and they come in every price point. You can find them in the drugstore all the way to the department store.
And it gives you that fresh look, and that's youthful. And speaking of that, people do want to, no matter what your age is, you want to have that youthful glow. What's another tip when it comes to color to get that youthful glow?
Well, another thing that I think people haven't been using a lot of and should be is a cream blush, which is, again, the rule. If you're going to create a dewy finish on your skin, you don't want to cover it up with powder or a powder blush, which is going to matte your skin. So a cream blush is another good choice to create that dewy finish.
And would you say, too, being that it is the winter and our skin tends to be drier, that'll give you a little bit more of that hydrated look?
Yes, absolutely.
In the wintertime. Good to know. Now, what about our brows?
Well, strong brows are back, and more natural brows. So don't over tweeze your brows, and if they really give a lot of definition to your face and to your eyes. So I always use a brow powder. I'm not a big fan of pencils because I think sometimes they look a little too drawn in. So if you're not a pro at doing your brows, start with a brow powder and an angled brush. You can get really nice soft strokes and create some definition for your eyes that way.
So now, Dee, sometimes I do that and I feel like I look a little too intense with it. Maybe it's choosing the right color as well.
It's choosing the right color, exactly. You could look at your natural brow color and choose something maybe a half a step down.
Okay.
So it's a little softer.
So it's not like you look like you're mad.
Right, exactly.
All the time.
Or confused.
Or confused.
Right.
You don't want to go too
upset.
crazy.
Right.
Good, great. Now let's talk about tools. So sometimes people apply their concealer or their foundation with a sponge or their fingers. What do you say to that?
Well, I say we all did finger painting in 6th grade. It's time to like upgrade and add some brushes. Brushes actually give you more precision, and they actually give you a better finish using less product. So if you're using your fingers, you're actually creating more coverage than you probably need. So I always recommend a concealer brush and a foundation brush. Obviously you need brushes for your eyes, but yeah, a lot of people come to me and they're still using their fingers or the little applicators that come in the makeup.
Get rid of them.
Toss
Throw them out because they're going to do more harm than good, right?
Absolutely.
All right, now I want to ask you about this color I see here. This I would never think to put on my eyes. It's a pretty vibrant orange. Now, when you see colors in the pots like this, they they can scare you.
Absolutely.
But now, this color you actually have on your eyes, but it doesn't look like it does in the front.
I have it on in my crease. So this is a good tip for everyone. A lot of people like to, you know, accent the contour of their eye or the crease of their eye, and they're using really deep colors. This is actually very flattering on everyone. You can choose an orange or a bronze or even something in kind of a rose tone. It's very soft, but it actually just highlights that bone and gives you some definition without looking like you've kind of done like a windshield wiper.
Right, yeah,
thing in
exactly.
your crease, right?
Well, that's good. So you shouldn't be afraid of the colors, that you have to actually try them to see. So just to recap, really, the dewy look, if you're going to use a pop of color, keep the rest of your face pretty neutral.
Exactly.
And, with that dewy look, don't be afraid to use some cream. Some cream blush, some nice tinted moisturizer to stay away from the
Throw
powder.
away the matte powders, and especially for dewy skin, you don't need a powder. The primer is going to help hold it on. Powder was, you know, back in the day for setting makeup.
Yeah.
And if you're using a primer, you don't need that anymore.
So put it on before, not after. Great. Well, thanks so much, Dee, for being here. Great to talk to you. And everyone can be confident this year with your makeup tips.
Exactly.
And you can see these makeup tips again by logging on to mymassappeal.com later on today.